Hello and welcome to another edition of Luminar Coffee Break. I'm your host, Vanelli. Now, I have a special treat for you today. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how a couple named Dan and Shell, who took a lot of these photos that you'll be seeing, how they use motion and kind of dorky and quirky type things to get emotions out of their subjects to develop incredible photos. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a quick video, and they demonstrate how they use a couple of their techniques to pose their couples so they get natural looking shots. Now, it doesn't look natural when they're doing it, but when we look at the photos, it looks incredible. All right, so let me start with the video.
Another thing that we really like to do, whether we're shooting ourselves or whether we're shooting couples, is create some sort of movement. Rather than doing just a set in place pose, we like to have our couples or ourselves moving with the photo, because what it does is it really creates authentic smiles, because sometimes they're like funny movements that we will have them do and they will just burst into laughter, and that's when you get that real genuine photo that you're going to put on your wall.
So some of the ones that she has us do or has her couples do, they're kind of ridiculous. Like, they look kind of ridiculous in real life, but in the photo, it's totally fine and natural. Like, we were doing the airplane earlier. Yeah, it looks good in a photo, trust us. We also have
gold.
Other ones like the drunk walk, where you just slam into each other. And it's just fun. It makes it so much more fun for the couple, and we get better photos out of it, they get better photos out of it, so all around win, win, win.
Well, guys, there you have it. I mean, that was pretty cool. The way they did that. I'm sure they have a dozen more that they can show us. But I like that drunk walk. I like how they were bumping into each other and just getting that really cute vibe going. And plus, it just adds emotion to them. Now, if you're not the type of photographer that's outgoing, if you're not the type of photographer that interacts well, with their subjects, these are not the ones that you should try. Try them out on your family first, because you have to build your comfort level. Once your comfort zone is there, then you can apply it towards others. Now, here's a real quick, just checking out the comments. Hello, everyone. Bonjour from France. Great. So, guys, I'm going to continue with this, and I'm going to show you how they shot these images. All right. So here's the final image. This is what I started with. And this is what we ended with. So once again, before and after. Now, let's see what Dan and Shell did with all of these images. All right, so let's start up. Let's start with the drunk walk that they were doing. Okay, I'm sure they started here. Now, the problem with this here is they're disengaged. They're not close to each other. So this isn't showing, a loving relationship, or it doesn't show intimacy, with them. Here, they're off at a really good start. This is something that could work. This wouldn't work. Too far away. This is a great shot. Here, let it catch up for a moment for the edit I did to it. It's almost there. And there we are. And so there's the final image. I think that looks great. And they have natural looking smiles. This could work. Again, they're too far apart from each other. This is another beautiful shot. I'd get rid of all of this in the background. There we go. Let's zoom. Look at that. I mean, I think I'm going to put that as one of my favorites. I mean, that's an absolutely gorgeous shot. And Dan and Shell got it because they had to move it around. Now, you should be asking a ton of questions right now, like, well, they're photographing in natural light, do you set your camera up on burst mode or continuous mode? And if you do, how should you actually photograph that? Or how should you actually take it? We'll continue. I'll answer that in a moment if somebody doesn't throw that in there. Look at this. This is another great shot. So if you notice, they're getting more shots, more keepers than they are rejects. And it all started from back here. Where is it? There it is. It all started back here. And I'm sure they felt uncomfortable. Then notice they started getting closer. Oh, this one we got to fix. Let's revert to original. Notice they're getting closer. Now they're away again. And I'm sure at this point here, I think they had them do a different type. Yeah, I wouldn't use any of these. But I'm sure they had them do something different. But do you see the gist of what I'm getting at here? Is they got them to feel comfortable. And notice, look, oh, I love that shot. And notice the first few, those are throwaway shots. Those are shots that there's no way we're going to be able to use. They're just not good shots. But we need them to build up to these types of shots here. All right? So, now, a couple things. The question you should be asking is, what are your camera settings? You don't want to sit there. In fact, let's see what they have here. Okay. Well, they shot this, wow. They shot this with a 55 millimeter lens and a very extremely shallow depth of field of 1.8. And look at the shutter speed. Right, that shutter speed was cranked way up. They're in broad daylight. Okay, so it shows roughly 1 p.m. So they're photographing this at 1 p.m. in Florida. This would be suicide. Trying to photograph between noon and 2, depending on the daylight savings hours. The shadows, the sun, the heat, everything would be outrageous unless we went to a closed canopy or closed shade. You have open shade and closed shade. So these are things that you would have to experiment with. But in this case here, wherever they were shooting, at 1 p.m. it worked out well for them. It's a little harsh on the head. So what I'm getting at is you could put this in after priority, which I'm sure they did, and let the camera figure out what the shutter speed should be. So you're not thinking technical. You're out there thinking, okay, the light's changing. Okay, well, let me check my camera. Change. Bip, bip, bip. Guys, hold up. You don't want that to happen. In a case like this, since you're not working with flash, aperture priority, and you know the shutter speed is going to be sky high, so you don't have to worry about camera shake, and especially, look at this. They did phenomenal shooting at 1/8, or f1.8. Look at that. Look how tack sharp that is. So it does show that Dan and Shell are experienced photographers shooting at that shallow depth of field, no camera shake, 50 millimeter lens, they're holding it in tight, they're grabbing their shot. Chances are they had it on continuous mode, burst mode. So they fire away, instead of like spraying and praying, holding the shutter down and hoping you get some type of a shot, I'm sure they staggered it. So maybe 1, 2, relax. 1, 2, relax. So you're staggering how you're pressing that shutter button. And then what that does is it breaks up the rhythm that they're doing. All right? So like I said, those are some of the questions that you should be asking. Good. Let me pull this back up. Good, Julie, thank you. What should the servo be? That's again, with your camera, you have to decide. I know if I do this with my Nikon D810, continuous servo is what I would use. So I would use continuous servo, with this type of a shot when I'm working in the studio. believe it or not, single servo just seems to work much better with it. All right, here, let me pull this back up again. Good, granddaughter's sweet. Awesome. Good, perfect, perfect. Thank you, Pat. So those are the questions you should be asking, because our job is to stop thinking technical and think creative. And once you understand that camera gear, then you'll start to be able to, and it's just like Luminar. I mean, we don't have to sit there creating this simple image. In fact, let me switch over. What I love best about Luminar is this right here. Okay, first off, that's kind of killing me. So here's what I love about Luminar and how it totally changed my workflow. I'm gonna come to templates. Let's use Q couple plane. Give it a couple seconds. Good. Oh, I like that. And again, I can change it up a bit. Let's try this one. I know I changed a few of them. Not that it was too much. That was actually with the heart. Let's see what it would look like. And black and white. Kinda. I'm gonna go back to the first one I liked. All right. Now, I just sat there, picked which one of the presets or which one of the templates I liked, then come over here, crop it, get rid of that little right here. That right there was killing me. So that looks good right here. I don't have a problem cutting off parts of the head like this. And actually, I think it looks more artistic. Again, that's my personal taste. Let's give it a second to regenerate. And if it's a little too creamy, I can come back. Look at this and just dial in right about there. Done. Now, how long did that take us? So think back in the old days, that type of edit would have taken me so long to edit, because I'm thinking, okay, well, I love the look. Where can I start? I'll start from scratch. Here it is again. Well, with Luminar AI, you start creating your own looks and your own style. You just apply it to the next image, tweak it just a bit, move on to the next one. You know Luminar AI, once you get Luminar down, AI just like you do your camera, all that knowledge, you'll be bombing through these edits, no problem whatsoever, because you're going to be getting really good shots that you can work with. All right? So let's see, the takeaway from this: get the couples to be relaxed, exciting, do little quirky things with them to make them laugh. For children, you know, I love working with kids. I always joke with them and say, like a simple joke, why have you never seen an elephant in a tree? And the little kid, elephants can't climb trees. Yes, you can't see them because they hide really, really well. And the kids start laughing, and then you say, oh my God, look, there's an elephant right there. Did you see it? And they'll start to look all around, then they'll start looking at you, start laughing. You make elephant noises, or if you go, oh, I see an elephant behind you, don't look, don't look. Of course they're gonna look. And when they turn back around, bip, 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 you get the shots. So those are things you just have to feel comfortable doing when you're working with portraits. And what works for me, like what actually works for me may not work for you, but the concepts do. Get the person laughing, excited, get the person out there, get the couple or the subject feeling relaxed, and you're gonna nail those shots. All right? Good. Any other questions we have? Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Please, if you like what we're doing, give it a nice thumbs up and click the notification button below. This way you'll be notified the moment we have our coffee breaks. And please share this with your friends and anyone who you feel can benefit from these types of lessons. Well, I'm Vanelli, and I'll see you guys at the next coffee break.